So there's something like 2 billion tons of grain that are produced each year. Okay. And 700 million of those go to feed the cows. That's a huge amount. Humans get a lot less than that, you know, maybe 10, 20%. So what we're looking at, more like 10%. So what we're looking at is a grain drain that's going on. Now, when you understand the math of that, we're going to extend it. Okay, we've made the point very clearly that the main cause of global warming is methane. And I'm going to add one more point, that since the pre-industrial revolution, carbon dioxide has only increased 37%, and methane has increased 150%. Okay, so that's where our problem lies. And they have methane is the non-carbon dioxide global warming gases. Methane, number one, nitrous oxide, number two, and the United States produces about 65% of the nitrous oxide going out there. Those are your big, your big two, and carbon dioxide being, if at all, according to James Hansen, if at all, is less than 9%. So it's like, whoa, the whole picture is much bigger. When you go away from animal agriculture, you do several really important things, what we would call in the Hebrew tradition mitzvot. One is you save lives. There's somewhere between 40 to 60 million people would starve to death each year. The estimates are if meat eaters cut down their meat consumption by 10%, which is not enough to stop global warming, but by 10%, there would be enough grain released to feed all those people. There's 29,500 children who die each day, according to the United Nations, of starvation. There's about 1 billion, roughly speaking, about 1 billion people who are malnourished on the planet right now. 25% of the children on the planet are seriously malnourished. So what we're looking at is we would release enough grain to feed all these kids. Now, if you're a life foodist, you may say, well, you know, grain isn't the best food. It doesn't matter. It's better than dying. We have to kind of put it in perspective. We don't have that perspective, and we only think in the absolutes. We're not seeing what's up. Okay. As Thich Nhat Hanh said in a speech he made in New York, he said that when you eat meat, you're eating the flesh of those children who have starved to death because there wasn't enough food, grain to feed them. Another one is preserve the ecology. And let's talk about the ecology. Obviously, global warming is part of the ecology, right? And we can talk about when the typical American meal carried out throughout the year uses about approximately 11,000 gallons of oil a year. The typical American car will use about 9,000 gallons of oil a year. So what we just said is eating your food is actually, typical American diet is going to be basically use up more oil than driving your car. Now if you got a Prius, that would be 5,000 gallons. So you're going to save some. So if you have a Prius and you're basically, a typical American diet, you're eating twice as much oil, and that doesn't taste so good. Twice as much oil than if you got a Prius. That doesn't really solve the problem because carbon dioxide isn't the main thing, but we're getting a perspective. If you're a lacto-ovo vegetarian, you're using about 303 gallons a year. Okay, that's not too bad. If you're a vegan, you're using about 200 gallons a year. And this is wonderful. If you're an organic vegan, you're using 117 gallons a year. So it's like 1/4. How did that happen? Because organic soil has organisms that pull carbon dioxide out of the air. It actually, see, we got one thing, stop global warming, but we also want to start rebalancing it. So you're actually pulling carbon dioxide out of the air into the soil. You're actually repairing the situation. So it turns out that those 3,700 gallons pounds per acre of carbon dioxide per year come out going organic. And organic farming takes 37% less energy. So that's really, really important in the bigger picture, because organic farming restores. So, but we're also talking about, you know, this incredible use of energy. So the energy is being used up. The regular farming, in a sense, is 63% more energy. What we're talking about is that meat-based agriculture, meat-based diet, uses 22 to 27 times more energy. Okay, that's one thing. Energy, a big deal. Energy. How about water? In my book, Conscious-Eating, I said 50%. Now the statistics are saying animal agriculture takes about 70% of the water. Now we're looking for a famine coming soon to your nearest grocery stores. Okay? What is the famine? The fact is, in California, they're expecting severe drought, and also where they're allocating water isn't away necessarily from animal agriculture, although I don't have all the data on this, okay? But the farmers are saying we don't have enough water to grow our crops. Well, if you look at California, which produces 50% of the crops in the United States, guess what? If they don't have enough water and there's a drought due to what they call global warming, some people think global cooling is going on, but what Gabriel's going to call it global weather instability. We have droughts here, we have rain here, everything's out of balance. Okay, it isn't just getting warmer in that simplistic way. We're looking for major difficulties. It's projected that China will have a 10% drop in its ability to feed its people. It's already having all kinds of troubles because there's enough food to go around, because they're eating so much meat that they've really decreased their grain. As I say, they're a grain importer now instead of an exporter. So, that being said, what we're talking about is 70% of the water is used up by animal agriculture, and then the rest of the water is polluted. Animal agriculture causes lots of pollution. Most of the antibiotics, 50% of the antibiotics, goes to animals, okay, to prevent the fact that they're raised in such poor ways that they're sick all the time. And that goes into the water, as do pesticides and herbicides, goes into the water, as do tanning acids and different things, goes into the water, as does the incredible amount of unplanned for defecation products from the animals that that one pig farm causes as much defecation byproducts as all in New York City, one big pig farm. Well, guess what? They had a break in one of the dikes. In one of these pig farms, stuff leaked into a river, and all the fish died in the river. It ruined all the water. So they're ruining a lot of the water. So this is like, we're having a water shortage, a worldwide water shortage, and 70% is going to feed the cows. And what it comes down to is the average meat eater accounts for 4,500 gallons per day. Average vegan, 300 gallons per day. The average vegan saves 1.5 million gallons per year of water. Not bad, whole swimming pool. And so what we're saying is the animal agriculture pollutes and uses up our water, which is going short. And somebody's making a choice that we'd rather feed the animals than feed the human population, because we're making money off this. There's no other way to talk about it. We are a powerful lobby. The Germans have the same problem. They know what they want to do, but they're not going to get, they're struggling to do it. What do they want to do? They want to take off all the, I'll put it, right now animal agriculture gets a lot of tax breaks. So they want to take away all the tax breaks, which is a very reasonable thing to do if you're going to encourage going vegan.